our moderator, Farzana Dohadwalla, on stage. Can I request the housekeeping to arrange the chairs over the stage? Panelist, Harshit Bansal, Director, ECA Territory Head, Delhi NCR. Amrita Burman, Deputy Director, Sunbeam Group of Education Institutions. Dr. S.K. Rathor, Founder, Chairman and MD SANFORT, Group of Schools and Vice President at ECA. Nisha Jain Grover, Founder, Director, Vatsalya Legacy Educational Society and Territory Head at ECA Jaipur. Ankit Vohra, Director, Jain Public Schools, ECA Territory Head, MP. The topic for our Paripreksh is, are our children getting a sound foundation for school and for later life? Self-help is best.
So we thought you were the first kid. Self-help is best.
You all have 45 minutes in hand. Thank you.
So good evening. I'm sure this has been the last session. You all are quite drowsy and tired. So we shall try to make it very crisp and hopefully educative for you. The topic that we have been given were, are our children getting a sound education for school and for later life? Okay, so what does sound education mean? Can someone help me? What, according to you, is sound education? हम तो बोलने वाले हैं, आपको भी कुछ ना कुछ तो इंटरैक्टिव बनना पड़ेगा ना? So what is sound education?
To be very positive.
Yeah, to be positive. What else?
To be independent.
Yes. So there are different skills and knowledge and experiences which we as early childhood educators need to give our children. Okay? And the change makers are here with me, my panel. I am going to call them the change ambassadors. Give you one minute to introduce yourselves. Come. Amit?
We have mics over here. Yeah, I think that would be easier.
Instead of mic?
Yeah, it will save time otherwise we'll just...
Perfect.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm Ankit Vohra from Madhya Pradesh, and I'm running 4 schools in Madhya Pradesh, 2 K-12 schools and 2 play schools. I'm the territory head of Early Childhood Association for Madhya Pradesh, and I have joined Early Childhood Association in 2019, and from that time I am working in this field.
Welcome, Ankit. Yes, over to you, Harshit.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. That's a good loud sound.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. People on the edge of the gates, please.
Either come in or shut the door. One of the ways.
Not either, they have to come in.
They have to come in, yes.
It's compulsory.
Thank you so much. So, my name is Harshit Bansal. I am the director to Abhinav Group of Schools and handling the ECA Territory Delhi as the territory head since 2018. Blessed to be a part of the ECA family, blessed to be here, and all kudos and thanks to ScooNews for organizing and having such like-minded people in a room. Thank you.
Welcome, Harshit.
Thank you.
Yes?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nisha Jain. Oh yeah, good afternoon.
Good
afternoon.
Better. So this is Nisha Jain Grover. I am the founder director for Vatsalya Legacy Educational Society. We work under the field of mental health and inclusion. Presently, we are working with the government as well as 100 organizations across the country, and we are in 7 states right now. I am the territory head for Jaipur, Rajasthan. Thank you.
Super. We've got great change makers sitting here with me.
So hi, good evening everyone. Oh, it's afternoon, sorry. Good afternoon everyone. And I'm Amrita Burman. I'm from the Sunbeam group in Varanasi. We run K-12 schools. And believe me, since yesterday I've been itching to come here because we may be running K-12, but it's the K where my heart lies.
Wow.
I spend most of my time there because I think that's where the magic happens if you want to do something good there, up there. Thank you.
Welcome, Amrita.
Yeah, I'm SK Rathor. I'm SK Rathor, founder, chairman and MD of SANFORT group of schools. We run more than 250 schools, primary schools and K-12 schools across the country. And vice president of ECA. Since I joined ECA, lots of innovations are happening in my own preschools.
Oh, lovely.
So we see Farzana ma'am, Rita ma'am, मैं मैडम का नाम ही जानता, पर फेसबुक पे इनके लाइव सेशंस डेली जो आते हैं ना, अमेजिंग. So one thing what I am seeing for last 2 days, even Swati ma'am is not here, but everybody is working so dedicatedly, and I think Swati ma'am will be proud of the ECA team who are here to organize this event. So kudos to the teams ECA. One thing. Second, thank you Ravi Satlani and ScooNews for organizing such a wonderful event and bringing all the like-minded learners in this classroom basically.
So there's just one thing I wanted to add while you settle down. So I've been there, and I think quite a few of us have been coming and going, but I've been there, I haven't. Believe me, the energy in this room, I've been sitting at the back for about 2 hours. The energy in this room is like fantastic. So,
you know Amrita, why this is there? Because वहाँ पे पॉलिसी बनाने वाले बैठे हैं, यहाँ पे पॉलिसी चलाने वाले,
यहाँ जिंदगी बनाने वाले बैठे हैं.
पॉलिसी यहाँ से ही बनती है, पॉलिसी यहाँ से बनती है,
पर नाम उनको नहीं जाता.
वो है जिन्होंने वो पॉलिसी मेकर्स है जिन्होंने यहाँ देखा ही नहीं इतने साल.
करेक्ट. यहाँ के लोग जो मेहनत करते हैं उसका रिटर्न लेने वाले वहाँ बैठे हैं.
So now on a more serious note, first question to Nisha.
Oh.
Research consistently shows that high quality early childhood programs can have long-term positive effects on children's various developments. Let us know your thoughts.
Okay, so I kind of don't agree with this word of high standard schools or high standard preschools or high quality, you know, because I have seen that any kind of development, whether it is social, emotional or you know any kind of academic development, it can happen even at the Anganwadi schools. What work and what you know strategy that is required is the more, I think, development and more training areas in teachers. So no matter where they are, whether they are in Anganwadis or whether they are in high standard education institutions, if the teachers are trained well and if the teachers know how to take the best out of their children, not only academically, it is not about standing line and sleeping line at the age of 3 and writing alphabets at the age of 4 and XYZ. It is about, am I able to make friends when I am going to school? Am I able to express when I am entering school? Am I able to go back home and relate my experiences with my parents when I go back home? If I am not able to do that, but I am able to write the alphabets, and if I am able to write standing line and sleeping line, or I am able to count, I think a teacher has not done her job completely. I pardon to say that, because as our children who are coming at that tender age, at the age of 2.5 or 3, even there are toddler programs which is at about 1.5, if they are able to adapt themselves, if they are able to adjust themselves, which is the first human skill, when we come as humans on this earth, this is the first human skill. No matter what environment and whatever adaptation a child requires, in terms of social, emotional, academical, environmental, everything. If we are able to give that to our child in the beginning years, I think everything else becomes easier. That's my belief.
Just one clarification. I said high quality early childhood programs, not high quality schools. So just to add, like Maharashtra has very good Anganwadis and BMC schools. In fact, that person went up to the global prize and he is from a very small tribal school.
That's amazing that you touched upon that, because when I look at schools, so when I look at schools in my state, or when I closely work with schools in Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh and Bihar and all, so these schools are not the ones that we are talking about, but they are not high quality standard, high education or high early childhood education schools. They are very, very, I would not even say low, but they do not even have the kind of resources that we are looking at from a very mediocre point of view. I'm talking about those schools. But even in those schools, I have seen that when the teachers were trained and when the teachers had the zeal to touch upon these smallest parameters that we are talking about today, they could do it. I'm talking about the schools that were run under the tree and they were registered as Anganwadi and Balwadi, you know. I'm talking about schools that are under the garage. I'm talking about those schools. They may be not high in standards, but they are high in practices.
They are high in quality.
Yes.
High in quality.
Yes.
For example, some schools, I am telling you, don't have maths manipulatives, but they bring small stones and pebbles and they are teaching children with that. So, and they do it beautifully. So, thank you so much, Nisha.
Thank you.
My next question is to Harshit. What are the problems we face in early years which hinder our students from getting a great start in their learning journey?
We all do love talking about the problems. So, talking from the ground point reality, there are three aspects of any school, be it a K school or a K-12 school: the parent, the child, and the teacher. The problems that we face, especially in a preschool, from the parents' point of view, is they first of all they do not understand that when is the start of the academic session. They feel that in a preschool, whole year the admissions can go on, especially in playways, the 2+ age that we cater to. The session starts in April, but the admissions are happening in July, August. So the 3-4 months of the children that are getting admission in April are again wasted to bring that child into competence with those who have just entered. The parents do not understand that if the school is starting at 8:45 a.m., they have to drop their child at 8:45 a.m. They drop their children at 9:30, 9:15, 9:45, according to their schedules and their tiffin preparation times. From child's point of view, because the child is so small, he is just developing and nurturing. So he is like a गीली मिट्टी का घड़ा, वो तो हमारे ऊपर है कि हम उसको शेप कैसे करते हैं. So वहाँ मैं नहीं मानता कि कोई प्रॉब्लम है. प्रॉब्लम मेजरली इन दो एस्पेक्ट से शुरू होती है और यहीं पर खत्म होती है. If we can alter and change these two paradigms, the third paradigm will be automatically set straight. So that is what I have to say.
Thank you. So I think solution to this would be having more parent workshops.
Yes.
Explaining to them.
And more we are talking about high quality early childhood programs. We should have high quality early programs for parents as well.
Yes, very true. Parenting workshops.
Parenting workshops and parenting schools also. So that thing can be catered from the ground up.
And they understand the importance of
that. Yes.
You know how Swati ma'am says that every parent should get a certificate to become a parent. So I think that's really very nice.
Very true. Very true. So Amrita, next is to you, dear. With the coming of the NEP 2020, why has early years suddenly become a topic of hot discussion and intellectual debate?
So I think for all progressive schools, and I mean all of us here, everyone, it was never that we neglected K or the kindergarten. It is just that when we wanted to, and specifically, you know, when it's a K-12 like ours, and we had lots and lots of data to fill up, I still remember those years of struggle, and I'm sure many of you all will. And my guys in the office, you know, the technical guys used to come and say, look, I want to fill up this form. And I said, look, start from the K. Don't start from the 1. Put down those 3. And then they would get a phone call from the officer and say, आपने ये क्यों लिखा? आप यहाँ से शुरू करिए ना. I said, पता है, उसको बोलो मैं तो यहाँ से शुरू करूँगी. Because actually school तो यहाँ शुरू होता है. The point I'm trying to make is that each one of us always understood the importance of early childhood and the K part. But what's happened is, it's a magic, I think. NEP is a great document. And what's happened is that NEP has been discussed, this particular NEP 2020 has been discussed like no other NEP before. maybe media, maybe we were under COVID, we were all just talking. It was like, frankly, a hackneyed topic at the end of it. Nobody wanted to really talk about anything. But so much of discussion has happened, and this NEP has magically spoken beautifully about the K part for the first time. ECC has come up for the first time. Not only has it addressed, accepted, it has done it beautifully because it's giving a scientific reason, the brain development that we all know. I don't want to get down to that. It's in the early years, there's huge brain development. People have got up, have been forced to get up and discuss this. They have been told that if you really want your even board results up there, देखो इधर देखो. पहले तो कभी कोई बोलता नहीं था कि इधर देखो, सब बोलते थे वहाँ देखो, and everything used to be around that. So when we started, when it's been discussed so much, and another very important thing is, it's talking about the continuum, the 4 stages. So the 4 stages starts from here and ends there, and it's a very nice gradation that they talk about. So when you talk about this gradation, everybody started talking a lot about the kindergarten part, the early education, in fact, nursery right up to class 2. The last thing I want to say is, it's not only the NEP that has brought this on the fore in a beautiful way and with a lot of discussions, it's also the NCF. I think the NCF, which is again being discussed, and I think really worth discussing. Because one is a policy, the NEP, the other is the implementation. So if you leave me with a policy, I just don't know how do I implement it. And I'm sure that each one of us, in again, Swati's style, can go up, bring it at the back and pat ourselves on the back. Let's do it. And go back and pat yourselves on the back. This is Swati's style. Because I'm sure when all of us read the NCF, we all realized we've been doing it for years together. There's hardly anything that has been mentioned in the NCF which all of us have not been doing. So I think these are the reasons why there's been so much of discussion, and I have to give it to the policy makers for recognizing where we all really should be getting recognition.
Super. Thank you. So I think it was actually a very great achievement that finally the policy makers are recognizing what early childhood is doing, and finally early childhood educators are now put on the same par as the primary teachers, So that's a great achievement for us. So Dr. Rathor, what is your opinion about this thought which many educators have, that children who participate, and be careful, quality early childhood education, I didn't say schools, are more likely to perform better academically, better graduation rates, better social skills compared to those who have not got this access. So what's your opinion on this?
Yeah. So I'll start from the K-12. Amrita ma'am ne jahan shuru kiya. See, we have K-12 schools, we have preschools. So the child who joins our K-12 schools from the early childhood part, maybe from the nursery or KG or play group, those children will give the better result when they pass from the grade 12 or grade 10. So this is clearly seen in all the institutions across the sector. See, one thing what I realize, I have invested good 23 years in this field. So what I have realized, see, in preschools, what we people are doing, what the people, teachers sitting here are doing, they are, inculcating discipline into them. तो बच्चे को सुबह टाइम पर पहुंचना स्कूल, उसके बाद उसको एक्टिविटीज करना है, इस टाइम ये एक्टिविटी है, इस टाइम ये एक्टिविटी है, एक सिस्टम में उसको लेकर आना. तो it means when they joins early childhood education, they falls into certain system, and this will inculcate discipline into their personality. One thing which help them to become a disciplined man when they grow up. So one thing. Second thing, exploration. So in our centers, in early childhood education centers, childs are allowed to explore what they are not allowed in K-12 system. maybe now when the NEP will be in place from next year, maybe up to certain extent, but in most of the quality early childhood education centers, जहाँ पर ये क्वालिटी की बात कर रहे हैं हम, वहाँ पर एक्सप्लोरेशन के लिए बच्चों को बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटी दी जाती है। तो बच्चा जब एक्सप्लोर करना शुरू करता है, उसकी इमेजिनेशन के हिसाब से वो काम करता है, सीखता है, तो when he or she will go to K-12 और यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल, तो वो वहाँ पर एक्सप्लोर करना, क्योंकि उसकी हैबिट बन गई वहाँ पर, तो नई नई चीज़ों का एक्सप्लोर करेगा, नए नए कॉन्सेप्ट पे काम करेगा। और आईआईटी से जितने बच्चे पास होते हैं सारे तो स्टार्टअप नहीं करते ना। आई थिंक वही बच्चे करते होंगे, वही बच्चे सक्सेसफुल बिजनेस बिल्ड करते होंगे जो अर्ली चाइल्डहुड एजुकेशन के टाइम से ही एक्सप्लोर करना शुरू कर रहे होते हैं। उसके अलावा सोशलाइजेशन, आपने सोशलाइजेशन की बात की। सी वी डू लॉट्स ऑफ एक्टिविटीज इन द पीयर ग्रुप. We take them to some different places also to give them the feeling and understanding of the society, how to deal with different people, how to respect the society, how to respect their peer group, how to respect the elderly, how to respect even the people who are supporting in the home and in the school itself, how to respect their parents, how to respect their teachers. So socialization also started from the early childhood education. So what I mean to say, every small habits what they pick up in the preschool, that help in the future. See, I visited one school yesterday in Jaipur only. So K-12 स्कूल, तो वहाँ मैंने उनसे पूछा कितने बच्चे हैं, सब इंक्वायरी की, तो उन्होंने कहा 4 मंजिल बनी हुई है उसकी। तो उसने कहा सर हमने इसकी जो फाउंडेशन है वो इस तरह से बनाई कि 8th फ्लोर तक जा सकती है ये बिल्डिंग। इन फ्यूचर इफ परमिशंस कम्स फ्रॉम द अथॉरिटीज टू बिल्ड 8th फ्लोर, then foundation is strong enough to take the load of 8 floors. So we are putting that kind of foundation to the human being, so that they can they can take the load of whether it is a K-12 education or university education or their professional life or social pressure or anything. So everybody sitting here is putting that kind of foundation, I think.
Thank you so much. So I think that proverb comes to my mind, the early bird catches the worm. So जो बच्चा जो नर्चर होता है अर्ली ईयर्स में, आई थिंक दैट चाइल्ड हैज़ अ बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटी टू सक्सीड. इट्स नॉट दैट वो दूसरा बच्चा जो ग्रेड 1 में आगा वो उसको नहीं मिलेगा, बट दिस मेक्स द लाइफ ऑफ दैट चाइल्ड अ लिटिल मोर ईजियर, एंड दिस इज अ वेरी गुड साउंड फाउंडेशन. बेस अगर स्ट्रॉन्ग होगा, बिल्डिंग तो स्ट्रॉन्ग बनने वाली है. सो अंकित, माई क्वेश्चन टू यू. Foundation literacy and numeracy are the stepping stones to a child's success. So how do you facilitate this in your school?
Hello.
Can you pass that mic?
Hello.
Need this mic. Ankit, you can take this.
So let's work.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, working.
So this term coined as the foundation of literacy and numeracy, and I think it is also linked with the Nipun Bharat. It's a national initiative for proficiency in reading and understanding numeracy. So this has been discussed in NCF, and it has been clearly mentioned and observed that कि अगर भाषा पे पकड़ बहुत अच्छी होगी, अगर बेसिक नॉलेज होगा न्यूमरेसी का, like the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and counting. So अगर हम काउंटिंग और बेसिक ऑपरेशंस को बचपन से बच्चों को अच्छे से सिखाएंगे, then definitely in future they will be doing well in their measurements. You can observe in many classes, in your senior classes in your own schools, 10th, 11th, 12th, they can't see the scale also, which they are being using all their life. उनको ये भी नहीं पता होता है कि 1 इंच के सामने 2.5 सेंटीमीटर होता है, और their length is being measured in centimeter, but actually they don't know how to convert it into feet and inches. They don't know what is the relation between meter and feet. So, but in future when they will go to the actual life, कभी प्लॉट खरीदना होगा, रूम का इंटीरियर कराना होगा, या बायोडेटा ही बनाना होगा। पूरे स्कूल की लाइफ में तो सेंटीमीटर में ही मेजरमेंट होता है, बट जब शादी के लिए बायोडेटा बनता है तो वो दैट कम्स इनटू फीट एंड इंचेस। मैं ये वाली प्रैक्टिस सभी से बच्चों से करवाता हूँ कि मेजर योर क्लासरूम्स। आपका कितना एकड़ का ग्राउंड है, यू शुड measure it. You should have knowledge about it, that we have 1 lakh square feet ground. The size of our basketball court is 60 by 120, so it is around 7,500 square feet. So they should all know all these basic things. आजकल घी भी खरीदने जाते हैं, my father used to tell me, बेटा वो लीटर में नहीं लाना, केजी में लाना है। अभी वो बाद में समझ में आया कि केजी टू लीटर में there is a loss of 70 grams. So these are the things which children should know, and they should get rid of the phobia of maths, and some activities has to be done at school level where they should start loving math as a subject. So maybe it is happening or not happening in every school, I can't say that, but it should happen, that much I can say. अच्छा, रीडिंग के अंदर लाइक इन अर्ली चाइल्डहुड वी वुड बी फोकसिंग मोर ऑन द लिसनिंग, स्पीकिंग एंड रीडिंग पार्ट, विल लीव द राइटिंग पार्ट, बिकॉज अगर ये तीनों चीज आ गई, लाइक मोदी जी ने भी वो एनसीईआरटी का वीडियो था, बहुत अच्छा बोला था, इफ यू विल लर्न टू रीड देन इन फ्यूचर यू कैन रीड टू लर्न। सो अगर आप लाउड रीडिंग अगर टीचर अगर क्लास में कराएगी और फिर धीरे धीरे गाइडेड रीडिंग होगी, देयर आर 4 steps फॉर दैट, एंड टिल द चाइल्ड गोज फॉर द इंडिपेंडेंट रीडिंग। अगर इंडिपेंडेंट रीडिंग वंस द चाइल्ड स्टार्ट्स एट द एज ऑफ क्लास 1 और 2, तो उसका एग्जाम्स, उसके सब्जेक्ट्स, उसका सभी कुछ प्रॉब्लम जितनी भी होगी सभी सॉल्व हो जाएगी। बट यू विल फाइंड दैट मेनी स्टूडेंट्स आर देयर, दे कांट रीड इवन द 3-letter words because their base is not there, or teacher will start shouting in class UKG or class 2, they आपको पढ़ना नहीं आता, you can't read a letter, but that should because their foundation was very weak, they have not been guided and supported properly. Had the teacher would have done it in the same way it is for writing also. लैंग्वेज टीचर जब हम लेते हैं, बहुत सारे स्कूल्स वाले बहुत ध्यान देते हैं लैंग्वेज टीचर लेने के पहले, रिक्रूट करने के पहले, दे मेक श्योर दैट हाउ इज द टीचर हैंड राइटिंग, इफ दे आर रिक्रूटिंग एज ए हिंदी टीचर और एज ए इंग्लिश टीचर। अगर हैंड राइटिंग बहुत अच्छी है उसकी, देन द सेम विल बी इम्बाइब्ड बाय द स्टूडेंट्स, उसका बहुत असर जाएगा। मैम फाउंडेशन और ये एफएलएन टर्म्स वगैरह वी हैव कॉइन्ड फैंसी वर्ड्स, बट द जिस्ट इज दैट कि हमको लैंग्वेज पे बहुत ध्यान देना है, और हमको ना सिर्फ मैं इफ आई एम टेलिंग अबाउट लैंग्वेज नॉट ओनली एज ए इंग्लिश बट मातृभाषा भी, तो सेम रूल्स अप्लाई ऑन हिंदी और मराठी और गुजराती, जिस भी स्टेट से हम आ रहे हैं, तो मातृभाषा का भी उतना ही ज्ञान होना चाहिए। बिकॉज इन यूरोपियन कंट्रीज इफ यू विल सी दैट इन इटली, फ्रांस, जर्मनी, अभी उन्होंने एक चेंज किया है कि उनकी जितनी भी सीनियर, अभी हमारे इंडिया में भी हो चुका है, मेडिकल स्टडीज और इंजीनियरिंग, दैट ऑल विल हैपन इन देयर ओन नेटिव लैंग्वेज। इन फिनलैंड ऑल्सो दे डोंट टीच English as a language till class 5. They don't teach, they teach their Finnish language only. So we should also emphasize on our own Matrabhasha, on mother tongue. Thank you.
Yesterday was a very lovely session on this foundational literacy and numeracy. I'm sure most of you all were there and have attended it. How to bring gamification into learning, because if there is fun, automatic literacy and numeracy is going to happen for the children. So Amrita, my next question to you, parent involvement. Is it essential or not for the way forward? All of us have this question about how much or how less parent involvement should be done.
So I think the first part and the very obvious answer to that would be, is it essential to have parent involvement? I think there is going to be a resounding yes. Because I think not only is the fact that the child is spending maximum time for years together at home rather than with us in school, it's also that I think as people who are involved in schools, whether you're teachers, administrators, managers, whatever, our biggest stakeholder, this is my personal view, I feel that in this whole, I don't want to use this word business, no, it's wrong. In this whole, framework of education, parents are the biggest stakeholders. They are the ones who have the maximum at stake because they trust their kids with us. So I think they are the biggest stakeholders. Coming back to your question, ma'am. Parents need to give a lot of time to their children. So as we just mentioned, let's take the parents on board, have parenting program. But what do we tell them, And I think before we come to parents in schools, I really wish we could do something for parents whose children yet haven't come to school. Because what's important is those early 3 to 4 years when children haven't stepped into school. Because by the time they come to us, if you haven't done certain things that we're going to be discussing right now, I think you've already spoiled it pretty much for life for the child. How much of time are you giving to your kid? And it's not only the quantity of time that you're giving to your child. Are you as a parent spending quality time with your child? Do you sit down, talk to them? Is there storytelling? Is there play? I'm sure these are the things that you must have discussed over the past 2 years. Because when children come to our class and we feel, oh, they're not picking up the language that we want them to, it's actually a problem. And a lot of it starts even before children come into school. Besides that, telling children, it's when you spend quality time, it's the bond that you have built with your child right from the beginning. Because later in life, when children do certain wrong things and the parent is the last one to come to know, it's because you've not invested in a bond that you and the connectedness that you should have had with the child right there. That little one who many people feel doesn't understand, I think understands the most. He knows, मेरे मम्मी, मेरे पापा, जो भी हैं, मैं जितना भी सही करूँगा, गलत करूँगा, वो मेरे लिए हमेशा खड़े हैं. The message actually starts from the womb. How much of connectedness is there between the parent and the child? The moment there is connectedness, there is also an emotional security that the child is getting. So all these issues of social emotional issues that we are having and the learning that we talk about in school, the SEL part that we talk about, I think it begins from the home. When a parent always gives that hug to the child, and I mean that physical, unfortunately, even for a teacher today to give that physical hug has become a problem. But I think that physical is very important because a safe or an unsafe touch and a good and a bad touch, which of course all of us, talk in our schools, which we should. I completely stand by it. But a child knows the difference between a good and a bad. अगर emotionally मेरे को प्यार मिल रहा है ना, तो मेरे को पता है कि ये good है. मुझे किसी को मुझे सिखाना नहीं है because my parents have always given me that good physical touch. तो मुझे समझ में आ रहा है even before I come to the class कि ये good है कि ये bad है. So I think that emotional thing. The other important 1 or 2 things: constructive criticism and saying no to the child in the right way. These are problems. Again, I'm seeing it as a continuum, It's not happening there. So when a child comes to the school, he is already pampered. He's been given everything. And therefore, he doesn't want to listen to a no to anything. I think it's important right from the time a child really needs to listen to a no. प्यार से उसको ना बोलना हमें करना चाहिए. And the last thing, because I just saw it with one of my child and a parent a few days back when I thought I'll speak about that. Other devices, it's been spoken a lot about there. This, I have no time when we give this device and then we are talking over there about AI and make policies and make all kind of governmental interventions कि नहीं करना है, AI आ गया है, ये device खराब है. सबसे पहले दिया किसने है इसको बच्चे के हाथ में? माँ को टाइम नहीं है, पापा को टाइम नहीं है. This is the easiest way out. So I think taking sessions on parents, and I don't know how Swati ma'am and all of you all at EC are going to make this possible, but can there be either pre-parenting when the baby is still in the womb, or before the child steps into the school, those major foundational years. Can we do something about that?
Thank you. I just want to share one thing. With this, we have two types of parents. I agree to what Amrita said, but we also have two types of parents which you all have seen. One is the helicopter type of parent.
The helicopter parent. I was going to speak about that. Yes.
So they are hovering around the child.
Right here.
And is that the right approach? In your parenting workshops, do talk about it. The second, what type of parent should they become? Are the submarine parents. These are parents who are under the water. Only when the child requires that help, they come up like a submarine. So either use helicopter. Bring your parenting workshops, please do talk about this. My next question, sorry we can't take questions because of time. Someone is showing me the time. So Dr. Rathor, how can we create a nurturing environment to enhance skills from a very young age?
So, how much time? 1 line? 2 line? Because one 10 minutes पहले 10 minutes का दिखाएगा. 2 minutes. So, see, I think in all the preschools, all the schools, people sitting here,
Please.
role play model, by the role play models, we can, do all the things. See, every good preschool means not physically good. My criticism हो गया था, इसलिए मैं clarify कर रहा हूँ. All the good preschool where teachers are trained and they have developed some creative environment, role play models, not by investing lots of money, but by their creativity. So by the help of role play models, we can enhance their knowledge, creativity, and involvement of the child, and the outcome is always fantastic. We are doing lots of these kind of activities in our system.
Suman did show us that. The skill of how we can use simple things which doesn't cost money. It just
doesn't cost.
Yeah.
See, simple paper and पीछे से आपने लिखा है उसके ऊपर थोड़ा colors use किए हैं. How much money it needs? Nothing. Or in my system, we have started. Not we are doing for so many years. We have started to use waste material basically. Newspapers और cardboard boxes, shoes लेकर आए, उसका डब्बा खाली हो गया. मेरी वाइफ यहाँ बैठी है, वो स्कूल ले जाती हैं. कोई भी कुछ भी लेकर आते हैं, उसका जो पैकिंग होती है वो स्कूल ले जाती हैं, उसको यूज करा लेती हैं.
So thank you so much for making it so crisp, sir. So what Mahatma Gandhi ji has told all of us, learn by doing.
Yeah.
So let our children, those different things which NCF spoke about, please, I think that is the base and how we will succeed in a good program. So Ankit, next, you are online. Why is play-based learning important for this age group?
For early.
Yes.
So ma'am, play, yes, morning I think Tasneem was telling that it is easy to remember things by acronyms. So I also made one acronym. So PLAY, Powerful Lessons Acquiring Yoga.
Oh, lovely. Wow. Very nice.
So you means asanas. So there are activities where you can learn powerful lessons from all this. So there are different types of plays. Of course, they are categorized into different. So we would be discussing specifically about guided structured plays, which we use in pre-primary, and we won't be discussing anything about free play, ma'am. Free play is not because
I think free play is the best.
Free play is the best. But free play is not like in NCF also it is said that free play should be avoided in the school and guided and structured play should be advocated in the school.
Ankit, I would still prefer free play because that gives the voice and choice to the child.
Yes.
And it's the best way to express.
Yes.
And I think they're talking about stages.
Yeah.
But if we want to have some learning objectives, then
Then of course,
then
yes.
of course, yes.
Like what we saw.
Yes.
पूरे दिन free मत छोड़ो.
Combination.
So what Stuart Brown has said that like from dogs to dolphins he studied, he went to Antarctica and he wrote very good book. It is Play Only, I think, the name of the book. He is also the chairman of National Institute of Play. And he said that play is not only limited to human being, but play is there in all the species of the world if you study mindfully. So if you see that the opposite, if you see that कि बच्चा खेल रहा है तो time waste कर रहा है, तो ये same way कि बच्चा सो रहा है तो time waste कर रहा है. So if sleep is necessary for our life, then play is also necessary for our existence.
Thank you.
And my last, what you have told us in the morning, play, that how to use indigenous materials like you mentioned about the bamboo and how to create garden of your own, and then you can love playing in that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So 2 minutes to eat?
Einstein has said that play is the highest form of research. Yes. So Harshit, fine and gross motor skill development in early learners will cement that strong foundation that we are all talking about in this discussion. Your views?
We were talking about high quality early childhood programs. We also talked about high quality parenting programs. But all of that would be beneficial only if the fine and gross motor skills of the child are developed at the earliest stage. I think the primary motive of all the activities, of all the curriculum that are, all the pedagogies that are there, be it Reggio, be it Montessori, be it play-based, be it activity-based, the primary motive of all these things are to develop the fine and gross motor skills. Because at that age, if those skills are not developed, there is no skill that you can give to a child. There is no profession that you can put a child into. There is no skill that the child will imbibe if those fine and gross motor skills are not developed. So keeping into mind the time is up, I am winding up. Again and again. I was not looking at she was again and again.
I think our 2 minutes were taken because the chairs were not ready.
Oh.
So Nisha, the last question for you.
Yes.
Why is a safe and stimulating learning environment important for children?
So I would like end it very fast, and whatever we have spoken right from birth and when the child comes into this life, stimulation begins then. So when you consider play, when you consider sensory integration, when you consider any kind of activity involved in the classroom when the child comes for early education, everything involves stimulation. So nowadays what we are seeing that there's highest stimulation visually and auditory because children are mostly on the screen and they crave for physical stimulation. So play then becomes the most important thing in early childhood education because that's when that food gets into the system. Because आप visually इतना stimulate हो गए, auditory इतना stimulate हो गए, अब body को तो कुछ चाहिए, so you know to balance that. And just to wind the entire thing up, ma'am spoke about touch. So when we work with special needs, my therapists are here and they would agree to this. Their children, the children that we are working with, they identify the therapist not through face, not through name, but they identify the therapist by touch. So the moment the therapist starts working with them, they first do this. And then they say, okay, it's the same touch, so it's safe touch, and she is my teacher, she's going to work with me, or she's my parent who's going to work with me. And one last thing, I'm so sorry, one last thing. I would want to add this. I met a parent just about few hours back. I met a parent. So she said, ma'am, मैं इतना कुछ करती हूँ बच्चे के लिए, and you know, I do this, I do this, I do this. But somewhere, you know, I'm not happy because क्या lack कर रही हूँ मुझे पता नहीं है. So I said, what's your schedule? So you know, my child comes back from school at 2, then she goes for X class, she goes for Y class, then she goes for this class, and when she's back, she has dinner, and then we have this time, and we have this time, and we have this time. So she had designed the whole day was activities, stimulation-based activities. So I just asked her one simple thing. The child is 9 years old. Where is the talk time here? Why parents don't plan talk time? Why teachers do not have a talk period in the classroom? Let's just talk. It you know solves so many problems because psychology says that 80% of your problems solve only when there is somebody to listen to that. 80% guys, 80%, and nobody is listening to our children. We are just in a race to give them a lot of stimulation, but nobody is listening to them. So that's what is needed. Thank you so much.
So that was great. Thank you all of you. Not putting any last words because time is up 2 minutes ago.
Suman is all the time with us.
Someone was there.
Good job, Suman.
Suman is sitting in the right chair.
I'm in a very unenviable position. I'm in a very unenviable position. This mic is working. Hello.
Take this.
Just take.
Take this one.
It's working.
This one is working.
Hello. Thank you so much, Farzana ma'am, and all the panelists for such a wonderful and insightful session. I would request Dr. Rita Sonawat to come forward for the felicitation.